But then I'm not in your world. I imagine most of your Zoom conversations have been work related and therefore
Mm.
possibly less fascinating.
Yeah, that's right. They're all work related. I've had one today. Um, and work is work, isn't it? It doesn't particularly interest me,
No,
like
well,
like it used to.
yeah, well, we'll come on to that if you don't mind, because we'll say
Yeah.
whatever we can legally say, but because I'm outraged by what's going on at the moment, particularly
Yeah.
with my daughter in year 11 and so on, and a school not unconnected with her education uh,
Mm.
failing her, in my humble opinion. Well, there we are. That's opened up a legal minefield. So I've got to be a bit careful, I suppose. We can
I don't know.
say a couple.
I'm not sure about that. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Yeah, well, I'm
Uh,
going to express it. I shall express it in about 10 minutes.
Good.
But on a happier note, let's talk about football first, because you got your
Mm.
scarf on there, and
It's a snood.
it's the snood,
Mm.
which we might add, I think was made illegal, was it not? Wasn't
I
it?
think
Was
it.
there not a time in when you could not wear a snood
Yeah, wasn't Tevez done for it or something?
because you can hoik him from the back, can't you?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
wore it during games, though. That was the thing. It wasn't illegal
he
for
did.
everybody. It was just illegal to play with a snood. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Funny days, though. I mean, that actually playing with a snood is pretty sensible. Although, if you're playing Arsenal, you're liable to get tugged by any of the garments that you have been so unsporting as to wear.
Well, a club with such a rich history as Arsenal, with their delightful supporters who like to throw things, don't they? I've noticed. Um, you
I'll
know
tell you
what?
what I'm going to do. I will cut into this that shot you sent me of the
Yeah,
corner flag when
yeah,
Rodri went over to celebrate and all that. It's
yeah.
disgusting, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
absolutely disgusting.
I thought the Arsenal did what Arsenal do in that second half, um, and they literally were so stretched talent wise to get themselves ahead of City and to stay ahead. They literally tried too hard and they lost control of themselves. They just lost control like big babies.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, I mean, the two penalty things. Well, I called them both immediately at the time,
Correctly.
and and it was just like match of the day. You look, Ian Wright, one of their biggest ever legends, just totally agrees.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
Edison got the ball. If there was a foul there, well,
yeah,
Odegaard stood on Edison's ankle.
yeah, yeah. He did.
And, at no point does Edison move his foot to trip anyone. And he couldn't possibly trip him. I don't know how standing on someone's ankle would make you bounce into the air like Zebedee. I don't get it.
Yeah,
And if Edison didn't get the ball, how come the ball went
at a
at
different
right
angle.
angles
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he got the ball, but it's too close to call, so you can't call it.
Well, if it's too close to call, there's one thing I did learn from Ian Wright on not only reassuringly how magnanimous, not magnanimous, but how honourable he was actually, and is generally. He's a very entertaining guy, and I think
Yeah,
he's pretty sound as a pound. Actually, really, he does
yeah,
know what he's talking about, being on the biz inside out. But as he was saying, even if it was 50-50 split, you can't call it if it's not clear and obvious.
exactly.
So it wasn't clear and obvious,
Yeah.
except that it was clear and obvious that the tackle, it was actually, that was the only thing I had a niggle about with BBC, that they should have been praising the precision of the tackle, because it was a very,
Well,
very, very beautiful tackle.
you think I would drop Edison
Yeah, I know you would.
on the basis of that, and on the basis of his appalling coming off his line when Laporte headed it over him. Laporte pointed to him to stay.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, yeah. And Edison is facing the play. It's up to Edison to call it. And Edison needs to read it, because Laporte can't see who's charging at what speed behind him. And you teach schoolboys this: the goalkeeper has to take control of the situation, and he didn't. And I thought he strutted about with the ball far too slowly all afternoon. I wasn't happy with his performance at all. I really wasn't.
No, you're not. I rate him very, very highly.
Yeah.
He's in my fantasy team
Yeah,
straight
he's
away.
a good goalkeeper. There's no look. I'm not saying he isn't a good goalkeeper. That would be ridiculous. He clearly is. He clearly is. And I wouldn't swap him for anybody because of his ability on the ball.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What would you'd punishment drop him? Would you like
Yeah.
Jack Grealish?
I honestly, Graham, I don't know what I'd do. You can't do what he did. You can't do that. It's not acceptable. We just got ourselves back into the game, and he goes, and he could have just handed it straight back to them.
Now that's a very interesting take that on it, because I haven't watched it since I heard that theory. I'm not as up with it as I'm not, across the different fan forums as you are. But it just looked to me like an inexplicable. But now you said that, actually, Laporte's header was beautifully paced, timed, and if he'd been on his line, that would have been a safe catch.
Exactly. I mean, he did exactly the right thing but Ederson wanting to come and intervene in a situation where there were two defenders. There were already two defenders on it. I mean, it's ludicrous. But Ake saved the day, and good for him. He's been our best player the last two games.
Yeah, he has. He's really and
he's
been
not
in control of himself.
Well, he's not Zinchenko.
Well, the microphone I'm speaking into has greater accuracy with the ball and greater ball control, indeed, than Zinchenko, whose first name I can't. What's his first name?
Alexander.
Hopeless or something like that.
I really don't rate him, Graham.
Well, I've got to be careful, because the greatest manager since Joe Mercer and Malcolm Allison to have graced our club does see something in him. So I've got to look harder. I've been looking harder for 2 years.
They all have blind spots, Graham.
Well, that is true. Yeah. Because he also played Angelino also got a game, got several games. But was he being shot windowed? I think he was being shot windowed, and I think with Zinchenko, that's it, because they tried to offload him last summer, didn't they?
Well,
and he wouldn't go.
Well, Guardiola did buy Nolito. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
yes.
I remember when we bought him, and it must have been at the time of one of the competitions in the summer. So I thought I'll watch Spain here. Nolito's starting for Spain. He must be good. Yes. And after 10 minutes, I was saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ, what have they bought?"
Yes.
And I just utter garbage. But Guardiola is probably the best manager ever. I would think. I can't think of a. It's extraordinary what he does. I mean, I still don't like him. I can't
like him.
No, I can't warm to him at all. I think he's odd. But
aren't all geniuses a bit odd, Michael?
Yeah, and he's definitely a genius at football. How this team can suddenly be 10 points clear. And it looks to me like they're going to win it by 20.
11 clear of Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, with the goal difference, it's 11 and 12, really. I mean, I did some. The best way to look at it is there's only 17 games left. Now, let's suppose Chelsea, because I think they're the next best team. Look, on the basis of what I saw yesterday, they're better than Liverpool. If Chelsea do really, really well and they win 14 games, draw 2 and lose 1, okay, that'd be pretty good. 14, 2 and 1 in 17 games would be very, very good.
Yes.
That means they would drop 7 points.
Yes.
They're already 11 adrift of us.
Yeah.
They need us to drop 18.
Yes.
So they need City to lose 6 of their last 17 games.
Absolutely.
Well, the hardest games that you've got in the season are going to be Chelsea away, Liverpool away, Arsenal away, Tottenham away, United away.
Yeah.
We've played all them.
Played all those, yeah. Although we are better away than at home in the big game, I think. We've bottled it against. We bottled it at home against top 6 clubs like Manchester United too frequently, and indeed Tottenham.
I think they'll be all right, mate.
I think they'll be all right. I have to say that is absolutely right. And I think I'm right in saying that over the past 2, 3, even 3 years, our strongest run has come post Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, we usually finish very strongly. City are capable. I said this to somebody a while back. I said, look, City are capable of putting a 14-game winning run together, and all the other teams know it.
Yes.
And if you do what they've just done now, which is win 11 straight again.
Yes. Yes.
You know, in that time, Chelsea have played 6 home games and won 1 and drawn 5.
Yes. Oh, really? I hadn't seen that stat. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
They've won 1 of their last 6. Well, that's 10 points. That's 10 points to drop.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
You know, so City are going to win the league. The bookies at 12-1 on. They think that as well. It's not guaranteed. Nothing is. But if they blow it from here, they don't deserve it.
Oh, that is absolutely right. Frankly, I don't. Other than Leicester, I don't think there's any club I can think of in the past 6 years that's won the league without deserving it. Actually, Leicester is more than 6 years ago, isn't it? I think.
I think they probably deserved it. I have to say. I
think
it's hard.
Not that style of football, I think.
It's and in that season, it was a particularly strange one because City and Chelsea were kind of rebuilding a bit, and you know they kind of weren't really in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
So and their main rival was Spurs.
Well, there we are. I mean, it wasn't a competition of equals, was it? But whereas, you know, in fairness to Leicester, I'm being a bit disparaging, I know, but I couldn't bear the way they won it. But whereas the way that, am I being subjective here? Yes, of course I am. Football it cannot be anything else. But every season we've won it, and I say every because we've won it so many more times than any other club in history, PL that is.
That's not true.
Premier League. Who's won it more than us since it became Premier League?
I think United have won 13, mate. Are
you talking about the league or Premier League?
Premier League.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I bow to you, as in all things, Michael. I bow to your knowledge on this.
They won 13, Graham. They won 8 of the first 11.
Well, my brain is just temporarily.
I think the next
that.
I think Chelsea have won 6 and we've won 5.
I think I must be talking about since in the new era, but then since we got rid of Thaksin Shinawatra and since we became Abu Dhabi, basically we've won it more times than anybody else. So in the new era,
that's true. I mean, they've won 5 of the last 10.
Yeah, and the last 5 years, it's 3 out of 5, is it not?
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
They win this one, it'll be 4 out of 5, which is pretty amazing.
There we go. So we are achieving. I know you don't rate Asan as much as I do, but his remark about us being in the in the first act, so well put. So well put. I must get onto this before we leave this topic.
Yeah.
But I must ask you this because it was too bleak to even respond to, I know, but I posted this bookie's favourite for after next season when Pep, if he goes, I'd have to say I'd put money on him not going, but if he goes, the bookie's favourite is Brendan Rodgers.
No chance. Not a chance.
Why is he the bookie's favourite is my first question.
I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all.
No, I don't.
They'll want someone like Ten Hag from Ajax. They'll want somebody who's foreign, who can play it the Guardiola way.
Yeah.
No, Brendan Rodgers. No.
Yeah.
No.
And since their eyes are on the Champions League prize,
then
it's got to be somebody who's won it all.
I mean that'd be difficult, you know. But you don't know what. I mean, I suspect. Look, if City signed Haaland, which I think they're going to have a really good go at trying to do, because that's why they've let Torres go, and they've still got the Kane money burning a hole in their pocket. So they've got enough money to buy him and afford Haaland. I think if they bought him, I think City could have 3 to 5 years of absolute dominance, and I think Pep would say, you know what, I'll see that through, and I'll rebuild again over the next 3 years, and leave with another strong side. Because when you look at the age of Ederson, Diaz, I mean, Diaz is 23.
Wow.
And he's the best centre half in the world for me.
Yeah, easily.
So you got Ederson, Diaz, Foden. Haaland's not particularly old. Rodri's not very old. Bernardo's not very old.
No.
You've got 6 or 7 players there who are going to be there for the next 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And if you can invest in the right sort, I think Pep will stay. I mean, where else, Pep?
Exactly. He would have to go to. Well, he's not going to go to Barcelona again, so it's got to be somebody like. And you're not going to go to Real Madrid. So you can't see him going. I can't see him going back to Spain unless he wanted to take somebody like Atletico and make them dominant. I don't know, but he's done that narrative. So what's left? Politics, maybe. That's the only thing people talk about, him going into Catalan politics. But
yeah,
who knows? Who knows? But it certainly isn't going to be Brendan Rodgers. Let's reassure ourselves about that. But and actually, before we leave this, because the last time we spoke, the perfection that is football in motion, Sergio Aguero hadn't encountered his current crisis, of course.
Yeah,
we ought to place on record forevermore our adoration for his style of play, for his gentlemanly professionalism, for his role modeling, his manner with the media, his total head and shoulders dominance over any striker I can think of at Manchester City. And I think I'd have to say, well, certainly in my lifetime, but your knowledge is greater than mine. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, I think he's City's greatest ever player. And I think he's the best striker. He's certainly the best foreign striker, I think, in Premier League history. I mean, the best striker in Premier League history, well, it's either Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, or him. His goals per minutes ratio is better than anybody else's who's ever played. So for me, it's him. City's greatest ever player has provided the greatest ever sports moment in sports history for me. And he's my all-time football hero, supplanting Dennis Stewart.
Wow.
And it's heartbreaking to see what's happened to him.
Heartbreaking indeed.
He doesn't deserve that. He really doesn't deserve that.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
So he's the only thing I think that's an upside of that is that now I'm going to embarrass myself that I can't remember the footballer who had a heart attack of some sort during the Euros.
Oh, Ericsson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's better to catch it early is the obvious thing to say, and that has been the case with Sergio because you don't want to take chances with that. You really don't.
God, no.
You really don't. The strain that level of athleticism places upon a normally built human being.
Yeah.
Is insane, really.
It is. It is. Yeah, it is, mate. And yeah.
And when you are Aguero, because he played, I forget how many games, but I can't think of many games where particularly at his peak, he didn't play. And you've got to be so quick, you've got to be so fast. And he was not a player who took it easy. He was not a player who kind of, he wasn't I say Harry Kane, but of course he's an extraordinarily fine footballer, but he doesn't tackle back or defend back as Aguero would.
No.
And I can't see Kane coming. And actually, I don't want him to come.
No, I don't want him. Don't want him, mate.
He doesn't want to come to us. So, I mean, forget it, really. That's the same with Torres, isn't it? Neither he nor Kane really wanted it.
Yeah, This City are 10 points clear in the league, and I think we're the top scorers. I think that's right. Well, just go figure. Really, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and already more players have scored.
Yeah,
more team players, more all round. The whole team.
Yeah,
have scored more goals than the whole of last season already.
I think it is incredible.
I can't think of a player who hasn't scored apart from Edison.
Don't think Zinchenko's scored, has he?
Has Zinchenko actually played, though? You can't say he plays. He gets in the way. He puts a shirt on. He crosses the line. There's no doubt about that. He crosses the line in many ways, actually.
He was actually good in the Champions League semi-final, both legs last year. He was actually good. But
he wasn't City good. He was Zinchenko good. If you compare him with his own talent.
Well, given our permanent problems with left fullback, he looked to be a good option. And when it came to selecting the team for the final, it was like, well, he's done well there in the Europe for us, and I think he'll be okay. And his selection wasn't the reason we lost that final. It was other reasons.
Yes.
Sterling was the reason, I think, and not having a defensive,
No protection for the defence, I'm afraid. Let's try a system we've never played.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, I know.
But if he'd won, if he'd won, he would have been, of course, the greatest genius the world has ever seen. And we possibly wouldn't have been where we are now because he would have perhaps been even encouraged to be even more erratic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-off game, though. Anything can happen, can't it?
It's a ridiculous game because the champions of Europe, are now second in the Premier League. Anyway, point is, Sergio Aguero will forever be in our hearts. And,
the greatest.
All power to him, and wish him and his family well. Put that on record. That's what I like about these podcasts is I can say this and there it is forevermore. For as long as the internet exists, I've paid my small tribute. And so let's finish with this then. That's when we talk next, we will. I'll say this prediction loud and proud that we will be Premier League champions, and we will be, well, who can say with the Champions League? I don't really care, but factually, I think we'll be at least semi-finalists. But whether it is so knockabout, just on frontier that who knows what will happen. But I'd like it for the club. I'd like it for Mansour. I'd like it for the group.
Yeah, they're good enough to win it. It'd be nice to see them. They should get to the semi-finals each year, really. And I think last year they should have won it. Obviously, they really should. But look, it's 13 games. That's all it is. Very, very hard to predict who's going to win it. And so I don't know. Could be anybody.
I'm not tempting you into. I don't want to tempt you into tempting fate.
Well, no, because it's a lottery. It's like saying we're going to win the FA Cup. Well, it's the one-off games. Who knows?
Yeah, the one thing we're not going to win, of course, is the Carabao. But really, does anybody care? I mean,
yeah, I do.
I know you do. I'm being ironic.
I really do.
I'd like to have won the lot. You got to win. You got to win the lot, haven't you? Those team photographs that you post on the WhatsApp of, the team with almost all the silverware there is.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd have done it this year, it would be 5 in a row. No one's ever done that. But whatever will be, will be. It's quite nice. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, they've got to play each other now in those semi-finals. That'll take a bit more out of them.
Yes.
Well, so we've in the space of 2 weeks, we've got Swindon away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a bit of rest now because
happy days.
Because City the other day, they were like an F1 car on old tyres, and Arsenal had a week off, and we looked leggy. And they wouldn't have got anywhere near us if it was a level playing field. But why in God's name we played Wednesday, Liverpool played Tuesday, yet we have to play before Liverpool. So we play 2 games before they play again.
Yeah.
How can that be? And we have to play the early game.
Yeah.
I mean, how are people supposed to get down from Manchester for 12:30 kickoff?
But they sure did.
They did. And they had a good time.
They had a good time. And so did we. My battery's going. Michael, thank you so much for that. I appreciate your time and your wisdom.
I appreciate seeing you again, mate. And keep in touch, yeah?
Yeah, we'll do. Bye for now.
Take it easy, mate.